So you're going to create a new document, A4, make sure it's portrait, create. So first thing you'll need to do is draw one of your boxes. So to do that you can use the rectangular marquee tool. This is basically a selection tool. So wherever you draw the box, it will highlight an area. I'm just going to create a new layer first of all because this background layer is locked. So layer 1, I'm selecting a box on layer 1. You can change the colour on the swatch panel to whatever you want. So I'm going to go for tealy colour. And I'm going to use the paint bucket tool. So for that, you might see that gradient toolbox over on this panel here. So it's just obviously the second one down. And then when you click on that, you can see that it's created a blue square on layer 1. You can deselect it by pressing Ctrl D. And then the move tool will move it around. If you don't like the colour, you can press Ctrl U, which is the shortcut to hue saturation, and you can change it to whatever colour you want. The saturation is how black or how much of a grayscale it is, and the lightness and darkness, it's obviously darker or lighter. So I'm happy with that. You're then going to create some more shapes to go on top of it first of all. So again, I want to create each shape on a new layer. So make sure you press the new layer tool first. I'm going to create another selection. I'm just going to, first we're looking at vertical, so I'm going to draw some long skinny boxes. Choose another colour that goes with that, maybe more of a grey. Paint bucket tool and fill it in. Press deselect to deselect it. If I want to copy it, you can either drag layer 2 down to the new layer button and it will make a new layer copy too, or you can press Ctrl C, Ctrl V and that will create a new one as well. So I'm now clicked on layer 2 and I can move that around. Now you'll notice also that I'm clicked on the auto select button up here, which basically means that whichever layer I click on, it will select it. So at the moment I'm layer 2, which is this one. If I do want to move this green one around, I can just click on it and move it around because it's on auto select. Sometimes that will work better than other times, so you can deselect that, and that means that you can only move the layer that you're clicked on. So I'm clicked on layer 1 here. Even if I want to click that box here, I can still only move layer 1. So it's just whichever preference you want. So I'm going to go back onto auto select so I can move that one around. And I'm going to create a couple more boxes. Deselect. So I can go Ctrl C, Ctrl V. You can see it's created layer 4, copy of that. Ctrl V again, same one. Ctrl U, I'm going to change a colour, make it a bit lighter. Okay, so basic composition of boxes I've got going on here. What I would quite like to do at this stage is create a folder for all of these. So this little button here is a new folder. I'm going to name this box 1. And then I'm going to select the top layer, hold the shift key down, select the bottom layer, and you can see it's then selected all of those layers together. And I can then drag them all into box 1. Okay, so now they are all in that folder. Okay, if I can hide that whole folder if I want to so I can't see it, so the little I button there will show you hide or reveal a layer, and then I've got all my layers within that. Okay, so the next thing to do is to create some typography. So I'm going to press on the T button here. You can select your font. You might want to think about the spacing. And then you can use the rotate tool to move it around. So again, if you press Control T, you can use the bendy arrow button then to twist it around so it's on the vertical axis. Press enter. Cafe. I might change the font for this one. The other way of rotating it round is go to Edit, Transform, and then you can rotate it clockwise or anti-clockwise. So again, I'm going to create a new text box. Ooh. Let's make this a lot smaller. Ooh, too small. I can change the colour of it. Let's go for pink. Control T. And again, I can rotate it round. Press enter. Move tool. There we go. So the other thing that you can do is to press on this little button up here, and that will change the direction of your text. So you can see rather than going across, it's now the letters are going beneath each other. So for the vertical axis one, this is quite a good one to try out. I can still select it if I want to change a colour, highlight it, change it to white so it stands out. Okay. The other thing that you might like to try out, again, I'm on the auto select layer here, so I'm just going to click on that square, and that is the opacity tool. So if you play around with this, it basically means it gets more or less see-through or transparent. So it's quite a nice effect to play around with. So again, if I copy that layer, so I've now got two of those, I'm going to drag that layer up to the top above the word cafe, and you can see that it's actually sitting over the top of it, but because it's see-through, you can see the word underneath, so you start to get more depth and layers when you're using the opacity tool.